Hi everyone and welcome to Blackwood Engage Layout and the first update for 2025. Hope everyone has had a good Christmas and a happy new year. The last update that I did was more of a how-to, and that was how to fit Pico twist lock point motors. That was following a request from John Warner of Piccadilly fame. The video before that I was talking about remodelling one of the junctions at the back end of the layout, and that was involving removing a set of crossovers and moving them closer to what is basically Blackwood Station. So without further ado, let's go and have a look and see how I got on. Right, I've come to the back end of the layout, which you don't often see filmed. Now what I've done is I've laid in the crossover points as they were before I made the alteration, and just back here you'll see there's a buffer stop because this line here was a siding. So if I come back up here just to explain a little bit, you will see the outer helix lines that disappear and go through that cutting under the bridge and obviously onto the helix. And when trains come off the helix lines, they come on to what was quite a short link line that came along and went underneath the bridge. And when it was underneath the bridge, there was a set of points, curved points, which are still there. And this track here was essentially the siding that never ever get used, and trains would come off over these points onto what still is the outer circuit of the original layout, and then to gain the inner circuit they would come across this crossing. Now the points themselves, as you can see, these are short radius points, so they aren't particularly prototypical, and I did have some issues with trains derailing, especially the Pendolino. The Pendolino would sometimes go over the points without any problems, and other times they would derail. So that was the track layout before, and what I wanted to do was remove these 2 points here and reinstall the crossing essentially on the other side of the layout, much closer to Blackwood Station. So we'll go and have a look at that just now. Right, so I've come to the other side of the layout, and you will see from what the camera's showing you, that is the new crossing. It's now actually a pair of curved points, and there is a third point which essentially allows a new line to come along and join back up with the end of the siding. Just past that signal box you'll see the buffer stop that I put in just to show you where the siding ended. So that siding is no longer a siding, it's now a big long link line which runs from the helix all the way back along here, comes on to the point that you see there, and then trains can immediately cross over into the correct running line, which is here. And those two crossover points, if I come back a bit, you'll see they are actually very, very close to this junction here. And this is the junction where the lines split and give access into the station platforms. So the inner lines there, those are the lines which are going into Blackwood Station, and those two lines are the inner and outer circuit of the original layout. Now obviously in previous videos I have obviously fixed, don't make you too seasick, I have obviously fixed the bay platforms at Blackwood, and it does mean that trains, when they come out of the bay platform, they come along, come underneath the bridge, come along here, they come back to this junction, which you see in the foreground there, And before, to access this outer circuit, they actually had to go through the fiddle yard. So they went through the fiddle yard, came out the other end of the fiddle yard, had to go back through the station platforms so that they could access this line here, come across the crossover and get back out to the outer circuit. Now they no longer need to do that. They simply come back through here. There's a very, very short bit of wrong line running, if you like, just back to the crossover, and then they can cross over. They can either continue on the outer circuit, or indeed, if they're going to the helix, they can go through that third point, and that will take them onto the helix lines and then back down to the lower fiddle yard. So much more prototypical. Now, in case some of you are wondering why is there quite a substantial gap between this track here and these tracks, that's quite deliberate. In my head space, I have possibly a bridge abutment to be sitting in there. So that's the reason the tracks were separated at this point. Obviously, as they come up, they do come back together, and you have 3 tracks obviously running in parallel round the corner. Now, in addition to moving the junction back, I've also installed a new colour light signal. This is a absolute aspects signal. It's 3 aspect, and it has 2 route indicators attached to it. At the moment, I'm waiting for an electronic board from Heathcote Electronics, a mass sequencer, so that the trains will actually trip the signal. The signal is just currently hardwired onto a power supply at the moment, so it just shows a permanent green. But once the mass sequencer comes, the trains will obviously trip the signal once they pass it. In addition to that, you'll also see, if I just turn the camera around a little bit, there is now actual fact a back scene. There's a plain blue back scene. There was no back scene along the back of the layout at all, so I've taken the opportunity of installing a plain blue back scene, and at some point it will probably have something suitable, an actual picture type back scene probably attached to it. So that is essentially what I've been doing since the update I did back in probably, what was it, mid-November. As I say, I have moved the junction further back. There is one other point. I was not advised, but it was suggested to me that the points that I have removed, which are behind the camera at the moment, that they should actually be left in. And I was going to do that. In fact, the first iteration of the track laying had the points still in place, but I discovered that when I took the plain line track away from the points to relay, I found that the points were actually sitting up on plasticard. There must have been a very, very slight dip in the baseboard, and when I laid the points, I packed underneath the points with plasticard. So that meant that when I rejoined the tracks that you see in the foreground back onto the points, they were actually running up a bit of a slope. Now, I left it for a couple of weeks, but it was really annoying me, so I then made the decision just to actually remove the 2 points. So those 2 points, as I say, are away, and it's now just plain line track. As you can see, the Pendolino runs quite smoothly over the new track formation. The reason for using the Pendolino is simply because if there's going to be one train that will find imperfect track, it will be Revolution's Pendolino. But I'm glad to report that my track laying skills must be reasonably good, as you can see from the pictures, the train runs over the points without any problem at all. So with the last clips of the Pendolino running over the new track formation, I think what we'll now do is move over and have a running session. So as the 37 winds its way back down the helix, that brings me to the end of the running session. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing that 5 or 6 minutes worth of various trains running on Blackwood. So I will catch you all in my next update, which I presume will probably be in around about a month's time. So everyone, please take care, and I'll catch you all very, very soon. Thank you. Bye.